Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and it's time for another Breakfast with Blaha. And today, having fat-free Greek yogurt, frozen cherries, frozen strawberries. Maybe the last time you see me eat yogurt for a bit. All right, let's talk about training volume and accessory work. I always get people who, they want to know what we mean by 10 to 20 sets a week, twice a week. And I think here's a good way to put it. I want to break it down a different way. Because I say that and people start getting confused. Well, how many sets does this count as a set for this body part? Does this count as a full set or a half set? And it creates confusion because now we're just counting stuff instead of saying, hey, what are we doing practically in the gym? And here's what I'm going to say. Doesn't matter whether you're running conjugate, doesn't matter if you're running 5-3-1. You got a primary exercise of the day. Everything else is supplemental work. Even if you do rep work with a squat, bench, deadlift, whatever, those now count as accessories, right? They count as training volume. So how do we get where we want to be, and what sort of guidelines should we use loosely so that we can throw out all that other stuff? Sets per body part, full sets, half sets, just really hitting this muscle. Throw it away. Garbage. Stick with mostly big multi-joint exercises. Pick efficient movements. Do, after each primary exercise, so for all your supplemental work, do between 4 and 6 exercises, right? 4 to 6 exercises. How many sets? 3 to 5 sets. All right, so what is that? How's that going to break down? Well, if you do 4 exercises, let's say you go to the minimum end of the range. You do 4 exercises. You do 3 sets of each. What do we got? Now, that's not going to leave any room for single joints. If you're doing something like that, you better not be doing any curls. I'm going to put it that way. You better not be wasting one of those slots on a lateral raise. But this is for people who have the minimum threshold on recovery, right? Low recovery threshold. 4 exercises, 3 sets. And I'll get into a minute why they might have that. What is that? 12 total sets. Other end. Let's say we go with as many as 6 exercises. Again, you need more variation. You need to hit a wider variety of angles. You've got the recovery to handle it. Still going to do 3 to 5 sets. All right, what's the extreme end? 5 sets. That's 30 total sets. All right. I think people can start to do the math now. Realize how this gets split up in the body. Right? We have somewhere between 12 and 30 sets. Means if everything is evenly split, at most, a muscle group is getting 10 to 15 sets on the extreme end in a workout. The other end, probably getting 6. Where does that put us? Where does that put us? We're in that 5 to 10 sets twice a week. On the extreme end, though, we may be getting up to 15, but you might have muscles that can handle that, and you might have extenuating circumstances that allow you to exceed 10 sets. Such as what? Anabolics. PEDs, gear. All right, we get to that extreme end, and gear will still help. In fact, you may even benefit. All right? Not only recover, but grow better. If you're doing that, you better be in shape, and you better be resting hard on your off days. Now, that's not the setup you're going to go drag a sled every day. Not doable. Not a good idea. Plus, again, highly conditioned athlete, young, healthy, on lots of stuff. the other end of the spectrum represent? Someone who's struggling with recovery. Right, someone who's struggling with recovery, they're struggling with fatigue management. Maybe their diet's not perfect. Maybe they need a little more sleep right now. They're not getting it. Their job is stressful. Wife, girlfriend stressing you out. Husband stressing you out. Maybe your diet's not perfect. Right? Maybe your diet could use a little work. But you still want to make progress. Heck, for a lot of people, most of you out there, your lives aren't perfect. I'd push you towards that end. How's that break down? Well, upper and lower, think of pushing and pulling are more posterior versus anterior dominant. Okay, see where we're going there? And don't care about glutes. Your glutes are going to get so much work. It's where people mess up. They'll look at a hip thrust and go, oh, that's all glute. No, not really. And who cares? I count it as a quad and adductor exercise, really. But we fall back into that. Some muscles are just going to get a lot more. Because a lot of the posterior type exercises, they don't even hit your glutes that hard. Upper body's easy. What's that mean? 2 pushing, 2 pulling exercises, right? 3 sets. That would be your minimum. Now, if we start going to 6 on the upper body, this is where you're like, I'm going to do some curls. All right. 3 different presses, or 2 presses and a tricep exercise, 2 pulls and some curls. How would that break down? Let's say pushing, bench press of some type, dips, overhead press. Right, there you go. There's your 3. What if it's only 2? Do overhead press bench, dips bench, overhead dips, whatever. Now, we're worried if you're doing, of course, only 3 exercises or 2 exercises for pushing. It's like, if one of them's an overhead press, is my chest getting enough work? Well, it may not be. May not be. But here's the thing. I also did a primary exercise first. You're probably still counting at least 4 total sets. Could be lacking a little bit. But here's the other thing. You could do some extra sets. All right. You're worried about to do a 4th set. All right, you're done. Beautiful, easy. Now, people start worrying about triceps. If you're doing 3 different of those presses every day, and you're taking that pressing volume up, your triceps are probably at their maximum. Like, trying to add extra tricep work is not going to benefit you. It's just junk volume. Particularly if you're doing some tricep dominant work. What if one of those is a dip? What if one of them's a closed grip press? Dumbbell press. Those are all very heavy on triceps. If you're doing one of them with chains, I mean, where we're at. All right, pulling. Probably some sort of pull up, some vertical pull, some horizontal pull for your 2. Now, you can make the case for 2 of one entirely. And that is reasonable if your program is balanced around it. Maybe you don't care about biceps. Maybe your upper back is lacking. All right? You can fill both of those with a row. But upper back is really lagging. You can do 2 rows and then do some curls. Again, for your 5th or 6th exercise. You guys see how this works? Start doing the math on this. What starts happening very quickly, we don't care of asking, is this enough for this body part, right? Is my triceps getting enough? Well, if one of those is a dip or a closed grip press, your triceps are probably exceeding 10 sets. And again, even if something is a half set, as volume gets high enough, it just accumulates real quick. If anything, front delts are going to get too much if we're not careful. But even then, is that a bad thing? Delts recover well. And you could do the same thing with lower body. All right. What do we mean? There are things that use the quads versus things that don't really use the quads as much. But even then, that doesn't work because a deadlift uses the quads quite heavily. Your quads will grow from deadlifts. It's been studied. Any sort of squat, a hip thrust, your belt squat, single leg exercises, leg presses, hack squats. All that stuff's going to work quads. And it's not hard for you to figure out what works low back, what works what works hamstrings. Glutes can be the confusing one. All right. But you guys get the idea. You'll be in that optimal range if you do 4 to 6, and again, 6 being a little more extreme, and again with 5 sets of 6 being way more extreme. So 4 to 6 supplemental exercises, doing 3 to 5 sets of each. That's going to put you somewhere between 12 to 30 total sets split between the different parts of your body on an upper and lower day. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.